Yeah, so once the pandemic happened, I had lost my job, and then a few months later I lost it permanently, right? So at that point, we're still getting the extra money from the government, so I really can't complain. And I had an idea about changing the colors of slabs. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't have any idea of protecting it at that point. So I took a screw down because it's about the same size, and I made it with a Cricut. And I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then you have the idea, and I'm playing with it. But the thing that set me on this trajectory was, so I asked my fiance to marry me, and then beautiful, beautiful sunset in Providence. Did the whole thing, like it was unbelievable. I had a couple of friends record it that she didn't know. So then we go out to celebrate, and we got to the second bar. I walk into the bathroom. I come out, and my fiance's on the ground. She tripped over her own feet and spiral fractured her ankle in 3 places. This is 2 hours after I asked her to marry me.
Oh.
Yeah, it's tough, right? So,
makes it more memorable. But here's the thing: do you have a lawyer yet?
Yeah.
I know one.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
I can come to Providence. You know what I mean? Like, let's go.
Exactly.
I hear an ambulance. Woo! Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I couldn't even go with her because it was in the middle of the pandemic. So then she ends up. She was a bartender. She had went back to work, but because she was a bartender, she couldn't walk. She couldn't do it, and they denied her unemployment because it wasn't COVID related. So we go down to just my form of income, which is unemployment at that point. And so now I take the idea and I show a few people, right? And they're like, that's a good idea. That's great. Peter Pac-Man, Renee from Storage Wars actually, and my guy Marlon Wells were like the first 3 people I showed. And they're like, that's great. Just keep going, just keep going. And it turned into talking to my fiance saying, hey, we could really struggle for a year. Like this could be something I believe in it and people are telling me it's good, but I don't know, right? There's no market for it, right? I'm the first. I have my patents pending. And so yeah, I just went for it. She was real supportive, and I got it injection molded, and it turned into a protective device that's also colorful. And the support from the community has been unbelievable.
I show it to people that think it's awesome, but you know what they think is even more awesome? When I show it to them like this. Now, I just did that while we were talking, guys. And we got the case around it, protecting it, adding a little extra color to it. I could do a little bang over here. The case is, this is an awesome idea, and it looks cool. I got the red one, you get the black. I mean, this is pretty cool, man. And I got to tell you, in addition to, and we want to talk about your backstory, your front story, whatever else you got going on. But I go to shows and I bring my cards with me. I bring them in a box, a PSA return box. I bring them in a case, you name it. And my son also has cards, right? And I try to teach him the ropes, try to teach him selling cards, you name it. I'll never forget, we were at a Hofstra show, and he opens up his case, and he's got a cool Ohtani card, probably worth $100, $150, PSA 10, low-level stuff. And a couple kids came over, like, hey, how much is the Ohtani? And my son's like, $120. I'll give it to you for $110. Good price. And one of the kids looked at it and says, hey, there's a little, like it's been banging around in your case. The case is chipped, right? And my son's like, oh, I'm not going to, if you want it, I'll sell it to you for $80 because you're probably going to have to get it re-slabbed. It's pretty funny how he says this, right? And the kid's like, no, I don't want the card now. Kid definitely was going to buy the card. And, it's you have this market. People have made these cases. People have made, they're carrying these slabs around. And that's just my 8-year-old son, 7 at the time, I think, carrying around, what we'd call a lower end card. Think of the value that's in these cards now and what you're doing here by, you're child-proofing it. It reminds me of when my coffee table with my kids, so they bang their head against the hard corner. You know what I mean? This is awesome stuff, man.
So Tim, down and out, $800 in your bank account, your fiance broke an ankle, COVID, which is tough in and of itself. What did you do? What was like your first step, right? Because a lot of people, why I ask this is, our show's about cards, but it's also, I believe, with money comes freedom, right? And we want to help people who, if they can't make money on cards, maybe they can build a business in the sports card space, and you've done that. So what was like your first step? Can you walk people through that?
Yeah, so the very, very first thing I did was, and it's because of the show Shark Tank, was I go get a patent pending, right? Go get the patent, right? So I have the design. And what happened was, so I go to a patent attorney and I show him my product, and I got offended at first because he tells me you don't have a design patent. not realizing what he was trying to tell me. I'm like, well, what do you mean? I designed it. Like, I'm the designer. He's like, relax, right? You have a utility patent. You have the functionality of protecting these things like a phone case, right? So that's when the first aha moment was, because I paid for the search and there's nothing like it. At that time, there was nothing like it. So now the only thing left to do was to literally show people, right? Because now I have this patent pending, but who knows if people are going to like it, right? Who knows if there's a market for it? So I had to start showing people. So that's what I did. And I just got, and it was crazy at the time. I had this 3D printed version, and it was crappy. It wasn't good, but people could tell what I was going for. And then, like I said, I got it injection molded, and now it's protective and all that. But so my first move was get the patent pending, and I'm currently 2 months away from the actual patent itself. I went on track 1 examination with the USPTO. But yeah, it was simply showing my product. And honestly, I've gotten so lucky, and I know it's because I'm working hard too. But there's some luck involved, where I think people have enjoyed talking to me, and I'm passionate about my product. Like, it's not like I used to sell cell phones, right? It's not my company, it's not my phone. But now that I built this, and I'm really trying to create something for my family, and I want to be somebody in the hobby, right? That's my dream. Is I just want people to know who I am in the hobby, and yes, buy my product. But I really truly love the connections I've made and the friendships I've made.